what's up? Spartacus here, back for another Hearthstone top 10s. Today I'm looking at the top 10 best rares in Arena. So these are the top 10 cards in a vacuum. They're the first pick in your draft. These in a vacuum, these are the ones you take. So rare is a very interesting level of cards in Arena because there are so many good rares, but there are not that many like really outstanding rares. Like the number one on this list is far and away the best rare in Arena. But the other ones are just, they're all excellent, but they're just not quite on that upper echelon, oh my goodness, this is the greatest card ever. Rare is just usually when you get it, it's great pick. For the most part, better than epic because the ratio of bad rares to good to great rares is not that high, whereas epics, there are a lot of bad epics out there. There are also a lot of great epics, but chances are you might actually just get 3 bad epics. So with rare, when this comes up, usually you're going to get something good. And these are the top 10 rares in Arena. So kicking it off with number 10 is the Mech Bear Cat. Mech Bear Cat is the Druid minion that's 6 mana. It's a 6 mana 7/6, and whenever it takes damage, you add a spare part to your hand. So basically, this is the kind of upgraded Yeti. Or not Yeti, sorry, Ogre. So usually that Ogre, that 6/7, really nice. 7/6, stats might be a little bit worse. You're susceptible to get Big Game Hunter, but in Arena, that's not as big a deal. That's the reason you don't see this card played in Constructed, is because of Big Game Hunter, but in Arena, that's not that big a deal. And whenever this card takes damage, you get a spare part, and spare parts are always helpful usually. They can always do something little to maybe change the game around. So, I mean, with 6 health, this is probably going to get hit a couple times at least, and you're going to get a couple spare parts from it, plus the very threatening body on turn 6. So, very good card, and it's number 10. Number 9 is Trump's favorite, the Azure Drake. The Azure Drake is the 5 mana 4/4 that draws you a card and has spell power. We all know it. Staple card in a lot of classes. Very powerful, obviously. It's a little slow, which is why it's down here. On turn 5, if you were going to play it, sometimes you don't really want to because the body isn't that great. Sometimes it's nicer to just, use it for more card draw and then also have like a for the price and the fact that you get the card draw, it's obviously a great deal, but it is slow. So it can't challenge things on the board as easily as a normal 5-drop would be able to. The spell damage is nice, but not as useful in Arena because, sometimes you just don't have a lot of spells in Arena. So, very good card, a little bit slow, but nonetheless, usually a solid pick. Okay, number 8 is the Mind Control Tech. Mind Control Tech is one of those cards that allows you to come back from behind. So if you are way behind on board, they have 4, you have maybe like 1 minion or whatever, you do this, you can literally this card can win you the game. It can flip it all around if you get the best card on their side. Or if you even get like a solid one, this kind of thing can flip you around. It's why when players are really far ahead, they play around Mind Control Tech. They don't put 4 creatures on their board. It should be noted that this card is bad in Mage because everyone just plays around Flame Strike, which means usually they don't load up the board anyway, so Mind Control Tech is not very good in Mage. But in classes that don't have popular AoE spells, like for example Warrior, Mind Control Tech's value goes way up because people aren't playing around AoE, and therefore you might be able to just steal something really good with this. So, good card, very solid rare in Arena. Number 7 is Muster for Battle. Muster for Battle is the reason why Paladins are now viable again in Constructed. At least it's one of the reasons, along with Shielded Minibot and Quartermaster. And this card is a hell of a presence to put on the board on turn 3. First of all, you get the 3/3 in stats, but they're spread out, so they can't just be taken out with one attack. People are also threatened by the 1/1s because of Quartermaster, so sometimes they'll just soak up damage that otherwise would be coming to your face. Sometimes mages will use 2 mana to ping it off instead of playing a minion, so you can catch up in that way. And in Arena, the 1/4 weapon is actually really, really good. That extra 1 damage can help out so many times and so many good trades. If you can buff these things, if you have a Direwolf Alpha with this, it's just game over. Like, you just win. Just a really difficult board presence, especially if you're ahead. If you are ahead on board, like you already have your 2-drop out and it dealt with whatever they played, and then you can play this, they are in a lot of trouble. So Muster for Battle, great card, and really one of those cards when you see it in Paladin, you just pick it up immediately. Okay, number 6. Number 6 is the Bomb Lobber, the 5-mana 3/3 that deals 4 damage to a random enemy minion. So the reason why this card is so good is because it's usually 2 for 1s. Like, most of the time you can make it a situation where no matter what the Bomb Lobber hits with the 4 damage, it's going to be good for you. So you get that, you can kill something, and then you also get the 3/3 body on the board, which is just really, really great. For the price as well. I mean, it's 5 mana, 4 damage, plus 3/3 body. That's just incredible. A lot of classes sometimes have trouble with getting removal. Sometimes, you know, you didn't get any removal in your draft, but this is removal. Plus, it comes with the body. Very powerful card, and one you should definitely take a lot of the time in Arena. Number 5 is basically another form of Bomb Lobber. It's the Argent Commander. Probably before GVG, like the best neutral rare, at least in my opinion. Azure Drake was in there, but Argent Commander is just a hell of a card in Arena. Costs 6, yes, but again, it 2 for 1s. Like, you can get the 4 damage off, and then, you know, kill something, and then you still have a 4/2 out on the board. Reason why it's above Bomb Lobber, even though it costs more, is because you can direct where you want it. And sometimes Bomb Lobber, you're just, you know, crossing your fingers and hoping that it hits the right thing. But Argent Commander, usually, unless there's a taunt, you can do what you want. Also, you can use it as a finisher, which is something that is very useful sometimes in Arena, because you just need a little more damage, and you need to top deck Argent Commander, and there you go. So, just a 2 for 1. Usually, it can help you come back on board. It's a very powerful card, and it slots in at number 5. Okay, so number 4. Number 4 is the Doomguard, the staple of Zoo in Constructed. The 5 mana 5/7 with charge. Obviously, you have to discard 2 things from your hand, but in Arena, this isn't that big a deal because a lot of your cards sometimes are just crap, so you don't really care if they get thrown away. And then not only that, but sometimes you don't have, like, you have like a nearly empty hand. And if you have a nearly empty hand, that's fine, because as a Warlock you can just tap and get more cards. So either you have a really full hand or an empty one, so you just throw away cards, whatever. I'll just get more. I'm a Warlock. I don't have to worry about throwing away cards in my hand because I'll just get them back. So Doomguard, really powerful in that sense. And then obviously 5 mana for a 5/7 body with charge is absolutely insane. Playing this on turn 5 sometimes can just win you the game. Very powerful card. Doomguard, I mean, there's a reason usually when you're a Warlock and you see it, you pick it. Not only that, but it can be comboed with, you know, Void Caller, and it's got that Demon synergy for things like Demon Fire and stuff like that. So, always a great pick in Arena. Okay, top 3. Number 3 is Unstable Portal. One of my favorite cards, just incredibly fun. Unstable Portal allows you to add a random minion to your hand, and it costs 3 less. So if you get a minion that is 3 or less, or 3 or more, I mean, then you automatically gain value because this costed 2. So sometimes in Arena this can act like ramp that Druid has, so you can, you know, use this on turn 2 or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have a 3, and that's like, you know, a coin basically, and the random 3 drop you were given. Sometimes you can use this and then you get like an Ironbark Protector, and then all of a sudden you can play that on turn 5, which is insane. But why this card is really, really good in Arena is because the portion of cards you get, the portion of legendaries you get from it, is significantly higher than the portion of legendaries that you're able to draft. So to draft a legendary in Arena is, it's not like that uncommon, but it's not common. It happens probably once every like 2 or 3 drafts, somewhere around there, that you get a choice to pick a legendary. So this gives you, it treats all minions as the same. It doesn't matter about their rarity, so you actually have a high chance to get something, like, not high, but a decent chance to get something really, really powerful out of this. And the reason why it's number 3 is because this card alone has, like, a decent statistics just win you the game. Like, if you get, like, a Sylvanas, that is insane. Because not only, like, you would take the Sylvanas even if it wasn't cheaper, but now it's cheaper. I mean, now it costs, you could play it out on the next turn, which you probably wouldn't do because you want to take more advantage of its effect, but the point is that Like, that value is just out of this world. And now, yes, sometimes it'll give you something crappy, but in Arena, there are a lot of crappy cards, so it's not a big a deal. The reason why this card isn't as good in Constructed is because Constructed, you can pick any card you want to be put in your deck, and people would rather have consistency. The only advantage of this card in Constructed is that it allows cards to cost 3 less. That's it. But if you can't be consistent about what card you're getting, then it's not as good. So, I mean, in Arena, that doesn't matter. There are a lot of crappy cards out there. If you get like a Thrallmore Farseer out of here, you're actually not that mad. Because basically, like, it's a 2-drop 2/3 with Wind Fury, which is actually an excellent card. So, I mean, this card, for the most part, usually gives you something that usually you get like value out of this card, and in some cases you get just way too much value for your opponent to handle, and you just win the game. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is a fairly uninteresting rare, but it's very powerful. It's Lightning Storm, the Shaman board clear card. So, in Arena, you don't like to play around rares usually unless you're really ahead. But Lightning Storm is always in the back of my mind when I'm playing against a Shaman, because it is a card they'll usually just snap pick. Because it is the form of AoE. So, deal 2 to 3 damage to all enemy minions and cost 3 with the 2 overloads. So it's basically like, you know, it's like a Consecrate, but I mean, the reason why this even gets more of an upgrade is because of your chance to have a spell power totem out, and then it's almost a Flame Strike, which is insane. So, Lightning Storm can be very, very powerful. AoEs in general in Arena are very, very powerful, and this is no exception to that. Just a very solid card. But, as I said from the beginning, a lot of these cards from 2 to 10, you know, they're very interchangeable, and there are more that I had to leave off the list that are also just excellent rares in Arena. The only card in Arena for the rare category that is just miles ahead is number 1. Can you guess what it is? Have you guessed? Number 1 is the Savannah Highmane, the King of the Jungle, the 6 mana 6/5 that summons the 2/2 hyenas. So basically, for 6 mana, you get 10, 9 in stats. That is absolutely insane. Not only that, but the 2/2 hyenas are really valuable because they're spread out. They're all beasts, so you get the beast synergy. Such a threatening card on turn 6. 6 attack is not something you can ignore, but then when you kill it, you still have to deal with what's left over. Just way too powerful of a card. There are 2 of them in every mid-range hunter and Constructed. It is a card that single-handedly is the reason why mid-range Hunter is said to have an advantage over Control Warrior, though I disagree, but as a Control Warrior player, I completely understand how annoying this thing is. And in Arena, you have much less removal, so just picture that. Trying to deal with this and everything that comes after it. The amount of value that it gets, it could trade, for this one card, could trade like 4 for 1. It can do a lot of things. It can just, you know, you can run it into the face, and because you have that hero power damage, you could just win sometimes. Such a good card. Fortunately, it's only for the Hunter class, but miles ahead of the other rares, and my undisputed number 1 rare card in Arena. Let me know what you think. Any others you think deserve to be on their list? There are a lot that deserve to be on this list. This is just my particular order, so let me know what you think, and I'll be back tomorrow for the best epics in Arena. I'll see you next time.